Joining us now is Fordham Law Professor Carroll. She's been following the Trump defamation cases here to help us break down what will happen in court later this morning.
Good morning, Professor. How are you? Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
So what do you think the key issues will be for the jury to consider in this case at this point?
So I think the key issue here is about credibility. This is about whether E. Jean Carroll is telling the truth. And we see here that the defense tried to undermine her credibility in multiple ways. But one way was to resorting to rape myths and blaming the victim. So on cross-examination, she was questioned about, why she didn't come forward. She was questioned about why she went into the dressing room with him and why she didn't scream. And so, when you think about it, when somebody tells you that they're mugged and that their phone is taken, you don't say to them, well, did you scream? Right? You don't disbelieve them if they didn't scream. And so neuroscience tells us that the response that is instinctive is fight, flight, or freeze. And that's what Carroll did. And so it's going to be up to the jurors to decide whether they believe that this, in fact, happened to her.
And how is the burden of proof different in the civil case when compared to a criminal case? This is a civil.
Absolutely. In a criminal case, there's a burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's a very high standard. Here, it's a civil case, and so it's proof of just a preponderance of the evidence. And so there's not as much of a burden, but yet still there is some burden on the plaintiff to show that it's more likely than not that this in fact happened.
So Donald Trump chose not to testify, and we should note he was not required to do so. But how do you think that's going to look to the jury? And will his deposition alone be a strong enough defense for him, in your opinion? There was at one point a picture was shown of Miss Carroll. She was confused by Mr. Trump for his wife, Marla Maples, at the time.
Yes, so Donald Trump chose not to testify and really not to put on any evidence at all, other than what was said in his deposition. And in fact, it was actually the plaintiff who I think made better use of Donald Trump's deposition. And the lawyers, I think, probably saw what a loose cannon he was at his deposition and probably didn't even want him to necessarily testify in his own defense. But jurors, I think they're coming to the courtroom, they're taking time from their life, and they say, well, why isn't he here? Why isn't he here to look us in the eye and deny this? Because they want to judge an individual, not just on a video deposition, but they want to see that person. And so I think that the jurors might hold it against him that he didn't testify. And to your point about, the picture that was shown to him, right? So the plaintiff is trying to show that Donald Trump lied in many instances in his deposition, and that his defense, his primary defense, is that this is a woman who he would never attack because she's not his type. She didn't look good enough for him, which is quite an offensive defense, and certainly not a defense to a rape case, civil or otherwise.
So if the jurors side against Donald Trump, what will happen to him?
So again, because it's not a criminal case, there's not a conviction, there's no possibility of jail time. It's about money damages. So she's suing for both the battery as well as defamation, and this is injuries to her reputation. So it's about money damages, and there was testimony about, how damaging, in fact, this was. But I think what really could happen here is if there is a plaintiff's verdict and they decide on the battery that Donald Trump did in fact sexually assault her, I mean, he's going to be running for president again. And, look, his supporters, I think no matter what he does, as he's mentioned before, no matter what he does, I think they'll support him. But would the mainstream Republicans want a candidate who has been adjudicated, even in a civil case, as being, a predator of sexual assault?
Care to make a prediction on how long it takes the jury to come down with a decision on this?
I don't read tea leaves, and it's hard to predict because you don't know what's happening behind closed doors and how much they're discussing things. But I think that, the evidence There's no defense evidence. And so I think it won't take them too long to go through everything. I'm wondering how much they're going to discuss Trump himself and his character.
Professor Carroll Bader from the Fordham University School of Law, thank you for joining us.
It was good to be here.